So as I'm sure most of you already know, yesterday a new snapshot released for Minecraft. The Minecraft 1.14 snapshots have started, and also yesterday I produced a Redstone video showcasing just a handful of my little experiments that I had with some of the new game mechanics. For example, the fact that you can shear sheep using dispensers, so we created some fairly ridiculous looking designs, and also we created some farms making use of the new bamboo, which grows so quickly. I can't believe how fast this stuff can be produced. So in today's video, what I want to do is experiment with this stuff and try my best to use it in super smelters, because bamboo can be used as fuel. Yeah, I think it might be a good idea to create a new world for this one, because I imagine things are going to get pretty laggy. Oh, and just as a fair warning for all of you, this is going to be an incredibly expensive, incredibly big, and probably very impractical design. So don't watch this video in the hopes of building something for your survival worlds. Alright, so this is how long our farm is actually going to be. So we have got 32 blocks on top of these powered rails right here, and this is where our bamboo is going to be planted. Then out the back we've got ourselves a little storage system which is going to be storing up all of the bamboo. Now obviously this thing isn't going to be 1 block wide, because that wouldn't be a particularly efficient use of space. Instead, it is going to be 22 blocks wide. So I've got a lot of minecart rails to place, and as I said earlier on, this design, it's not very resource efficient, I have to say. And I'm just now starting to realise quite how big this thing actually is going to be. Well, now the reason that I've got 4 double chests up at the top here is each one of these double chest systems is going to be running into one individual furnace. So we're going to have 23 furnaces set up, and the reason that I've used 4 double chests is so that we can smelt 1 full double chest of items per furnace, which means that if you were to use up all of the fuel in the storage, then it would require 23 double chests of items to actually use up all of the fuel at once, that would be quite a big smelting job. It's not very often that you require 23 double chests worth of smelting. I do miss being able to use MC Edit in situations like this though. I mean, it would have been so easy, just highlight and then clone 22 times, boom, you're done. Right, we just about got there in the end. So this is going to be our item pickup system, and I've just realized that these aren't meant to be powered rails. These in fact should be regular rails, because I want to be able to power these things on demand. So when we actually trigger the system, then that's when these powered rails are going to activate, and all of the minecarts will spread out across this massive area, gradually picking up all of the bamboo that is on the floor. And I'm hoping it's going to be a lot of bamboo on the floor. I have just realized I have been a bit of a spoon though, because I mean, we can use the good old fill command. Let's go grass. Oh, we needed grass blocks. You have to admit though, that did make an incredibly satisfying sound, didn't it? It was like a negative buzzer noise, like eh. Alright, so here is our field of bamboo, and as you can see, things are growing really, really quickly. I'm actually starting to worry that there is a chance that our hopper minecarts are not going to be fast enough to drop off the items in time. Now that is a genuine concern of mine. Well, I guess we just build it and see what happens. Now that the glass chamber is up and I'm seeing how much things have grown, and I don't think that's going to be a problem. I don't think we're going to have an issue with the items being dropped off too slowly. So what we're going to do is we're going to have an observer up at the top here. This is going to detect when this piece of bamboo, so this specific piece of bamboo is going to be like our control bamboo. And when that grows in front of this observer, that's then going to activate the system, and all of the bamboo in the area, which should hopefully all be the same height as this control piece of bamboo, will be harvested by our flying machines, landing on the floor and then being picked up by our hopper minecarts. It's going to look pretty glorious, but also is probably going to cause all the lag in the world. I'm just curious to see what this does to the game. It actually handles it surprisingly quite well. And is that not the most satisfying thing you've ever seen in your life? Because I definitely feel like it's one of my most satisfying things I've ever seen in my life. Hopefully this should do the activation system. So all of this redstone right here is going to power these 2 pistons, which will activate the observers, and they're going to be activated by this observer up at the top. So say for example we grab ourselves some bamboo And this one right here, I do believe is our control one. So eventually, that will grow up to the height of this. Ooh. What on earth happened there? That was weird. I think maybe our pulse length was a little bit too short running into the pistons, which kind of caused it to glitch out. So hopefully this should fix it. So let's try again. If we just go up like this. There we go. That's a little bit more like it. And that is harvesting the entire thing. Nice. Now that we've got all of that worked out, it's time to start work on the actual minecart shoot-off system, because of course all of this farm is completely useless if we don't have any way to pick up all of the bamboo. So I guess this redstone line back here is going to actually fire our minecarts, and I think I'm going to put a line of hoppers across the top here just to catch any sugarcane that manages to make its way into this gap. I'm sure it's going to be a tiny quantity, but I don't want any lossage in this thing. Things are starting to look pretty gnarly in terms of this design. This is a monstrous looking thing, and if we were to activate it, so let's give it a quick test. And that has powered all of our minecarts, so they've all gone across and they've picked up all of the items, and they will fire twice. So there'll be one at the start, and then all of the items will be unloading into the hoppers, which I imagine there will be tons of items inside these minecart hoppers. Yep. So they'll go to the end, and then they will bounce back, which that all looks like it's worked effectively. Except it doesn't seem to have... Okay, yeah, there we go. I was going to say, how have those guys escaped it? Then when it gets to the end here, that will fire the minecarts once again, and even more bamboo will be picked up, and that will all make its way down into these furnaces down at the bottom here. So this should, in theory, yeah, now be working. But of course that is only the farm section. We haven't actually constructed the super smelter just yet, so now it is time to start work on that. And of course we're going to be using a slightly modified version of Ilmango's super smelter design. So with Ilmango's super smelter, it drops all of the items into the furnaces at exactly the same time. It's all synchronized, so it smelts incredibly quickly. That's why it's called a super smelter, because it's super fast. But of course we don't need to build any of the redstone for the fueling, because that is being done by this. We have got 23 individual storage systems for each one of the furnaces, so we only have to worry about synchronized sorting for the actual items that we want to be smelted. I have a feeling that that made the square root of 0 sense, so hopefully the redstone will be a little bit more obvious. It probably isn't, but it is built and it is now working. So if I was to drop some items on the inside of here, let's say we were to drop in 64 cobblestone, we should see... Now, I haven't actually tested this just yet, but we should see that it will drop into the furnaces in synchronization. Takes a little while. There we go. That's exactly what we want. So there should be just one piece of cobblestone inside each one of these. And look how fast that bamboo gets used. Woo! That is fast. Oh, and as you can see, so as the cobblestone drops out, a new piece of cobblestone is refilling it. That's why this design is so quick, because I think any second now, this should actually be all done. Yep, so there we go. One full stack of cobblestone, all fully smelted up. I love this thing. So, I am now going to go AFK for 1 hour with my random tick speed set to 6, which means that it's the equivalent of 2 hours worth of AFKing, and we'll see how many items we get in that space of time. I'm excited to see this. But actually, after about 15 minutes of AFKing and it not harvesting, I've realized a slight flaw in my design. So, the sensor is at 12 blocks, which bamboo can grow between 12 and 14 blocks in height, and that means that if this control block, or this control bamboo, takes a long time to grow to its maximum height of either 12 or 13 or 14, then that means that the rest of the farm will have reached its maximum height and it will have actually stopped growing, so we won't be producing bamboo. For example, if this is the slowest bamboo, which by the look of things this one actually almost is, then there's lots of loss of efficiency there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drop my sensor down, probably to about this high, which means that it's going to harvest more frequently, which could cause a little bit more lag, but it should mean that we actually get more bamboo, because look how tall some of this has grown. Now, during this super fast time lapse, I actually want to ask you guys a bit of a question. What do you think of the Minecraft 1.14 snapshot? I've been hearing lots of positive things on Twitter. Everyone seems to be fairly excited. I personally am extremely happy about the new shearing feature of the sheep, just because wool, for me, I mean, I like building my redstone out of wool. You can see, okay? I like building redstone out of wool, but getting wool has always been such a pain in the backside in Minecraft. So it's really nice to see them automate this sort of thing. And I'm just wondering, would it work with mushrooms? Because if you shear a mushroom, then it drops its mushrooms. But I can't remember if there's any way for a mushroom to get its mushrooms back. That could be a really interesting mushroom farm if that is the case. But yeah, I really like the new features. I haven't actually played around with the pillagers yet, but that's something that I'm super excited to test out too. But I'm also excited to see what they come out with later throughout the snapshots, because I'm hoping that there's a few surprises in store. Also, what on earth is the wither rose? Please let me know down in the comment section. There's lots for you to do in this time lapse. So that actually ended up being just over an hour, probably about an hour and 10 minutes, but I'm interested to see... Whoa. That is tons more than I was expecting. So each one of these chests has got a decent amount filled in. Now that is enough. So that would be enough to smelt, including the stuff in the hoppers and also the furnaces, probably about 9 stacks of items per furnace, which means that that is 23 times 9 stacks of items that this super smelter could smelt just from 1 hour of AFKing. That is so cool. That is so cool. I cannot wait until Hermitcraft updates to Minecraft 1.14, because, I mean, this isn't even that big of a farm. And it works that well. I'm excited. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.